So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of my tips for a midnight showing. So number one is, and this one, if you haven't done this one already, you should probably do it right now. And number one is buy tickets in advance. That way you're guaranteed a spot in the theater. This is so important because you don't want to walk into the theater at 11 o'clock at night and they say, sorry, we don't have tickets. That would just be devastating. If you live in a smaller town, it might be a little bit different. But if you live in a big city, I would definitely recommend you go online and buy tickets. That way you are guaranteed that you have a seat in the theater. And, alright, number two, while in line to get to the theater, drink at least one energy drink, coffee drink, or pop. You'll need it for the long wait in the theater. At my theater, you are let in at 11 o'clock, and that's actually kind of late. It might be 10:30, but for sure at the latest 11 o'clock. You get in your seats and you wait for an hour and a half, which is pretty normal. What I did for Twilight Eclipse was we stopped at Starbucks, and I drank a coffee. So I drank a coffee on my way to the theater while I was standing in line to get into the theater. Once I got in the theater, about half an hour before showtime, I drank a Red Bull, so I would be, nice and energized. And then during the movie, I ate some gummy worms and did all that stuff. So I was nice and sugared up by the time I was done watching the movie. I was on a sugar high, and I didn't get to bed till about 5 o'clock in the morning. So number three is arrive no later than 10:30. Usually theaters let you inside the actual movie theater around 11 o'clock. At my movie theater, what they do is there is a snake line set up. There's two of them, one for this side, one for this side of the movie theater, and you sit there and you wait for an hour or two. Usually it doesn't snake too far out the theater, but if you have to line up outside the actual building of the movie theater, then it could probably snake. So the closer you are in line, the better seats you're gonna have, which is actually another one of my tips. So you want to make sure that you arrive no later than 10:30. I think my cousin and I are going about 10. That would be about the time that we're gonna get there, I think, because we have costumes and we're nerding it out. Number four, bring items to entertain yourself, like Uno, card games, books, magazine, handheld games like Game Boys or DS's or whatever, an iPod or etc. Because like I said, you're going to be waiting for an hour to an hour and a half in the movie theater itself, and possibly an hour outside of the movie theater. So you want to make sure that you're nice and entertained while you're outside the movie theater. Number five, if you're opting not to wear a costume, instead you want to be comfortable, bring a small pillow and blanket. Most people make themselves at home, so don't be afraid to do so yourself. A lot of people at these movies are, like my cousin said when she was up in Montana for the midnight showing, they were all about the pajamas. They were in their feetsy pajamas with a pillow and a blanket. So it really depends on your state. If you know someone who's gone to a midnight showing and you're going to the same theater for this midnight showing, you might want to ask them what the norm is. At the movie theater that I'm going to, it's usually normal for people to dress up and go nerdy, but I've also seen people come in comfortable clothes. It's pretty much personal preference when it comes to stuff like that, and you should just kind of do your research and figure out what you want to do for yourself, whatever works for you. Number six, if you are wearing a costume, make sure you are comfortable and warm. Usually the theaters are cold. Usually the theaters are very cold, which works well in some cases to keep you awake, but it also is bad because, I don't know about you, but every time I go in the summer, the theaters are twice as cold as they are in the winter, and my feet freeze to death because I'm in flip-flops, and I'm in a tank top, and I'm cold. So if you are wearing a costume, like mine is strapless, and I only have, I have a little thing I'm wearing over the dress that doesn't have sleeves, so I'm going to be bringing a jacket to wear in the movie, once the movie starts, so I'm nice and warm, and I'm wearing tennis shoes so my feet shouldn't be too cold. But make sure, even if you are wearing a costume, once the movie starts, that you have something that's comfortable, that can kind of keep you warm in the theater. Comfort is pretty much going to be your biggest thing. You really want to make sure that you're comfortable with these things. People are going to make themselves at home. At my theater, people bring in stuff and they don't really and the people there don't really care. It's really a relaxed, laid back atmosphere because most of the people there are really big fans and they will behave themselves because to them this is a big moment and they're not going to act out or be rowdy. So yeah. And I'll talk a little bit about that after my tips about what to expect. Number 7. Pick your seats wisely. Some theaters give out t-shirts or other prizes before the movie starts, usually those to the middle part of the theater. When I went to my first Harry Potter midnight showing, which was for Half-Blood Prince, they were doing like t-shirt cannon in the theater, but it wasn't with a cannon. They were just throwing out t-shirts. I think it just said like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince on them. But you never know. Your theater might give out stuff. We were sort of towards the front because we were at the back of the line because we got there a little bit late. But pick your seats. You know where you're most comfortable with. And then again, that also translates into picking your line wisely. You know, pick where you want to be in the line wisely. You know, if you like sitting way at the top or if you like sitting in the front, you know, really be conscious of where you want to sit when you're lining up. Bring or buy munchies. Usually theaters are a tad more lenient during midnight showings, but not all theaters. At the theater I go to, they're really relaxed about that anyways during any showing, but usually, like I said, people make themselves at home during these, and they're really just, you know, out to have a good time. They're not out to cause trouble, and so the theaters are a little bit more lenient on how munchies and everything is handled. Number 9 is kind of a given. Make sure to nap a few hours before you leave the theater, or before you leave to the theater, because if you fall asleep during the movie, that's sort of a fail. I'm sorry, my brother is like watching a game and he likes to make noises, so it's probably like annoying you guys. Number 10, be prepared for wild craziness that ensues. Most people are the biggest fans of the series. Movie will scream, talk to the characters, etc. during the movie. You are going to meet the biggest fans of whatever series you're going to. Since this is a Harry Potter series, you are going to meet the biggest fans of Harry Potter in these movies, and you're going to be amazed at how crazy, wild, and out loud people are. A lot of people will, you know, kind of cheer when their character comes on. People will cheer at the beginning of the movie, they'll cheer at the end, they'll clap, they'll go crazy, and you should probably be prepared for that. If you don't like people talking to the screen during the movies, you probably shouldn't go to a midnight showing. Just saying. Number 11, have fun. This is a very fun night, and you get to bond with crazy fans just like you. So that's my dog. She's been behind me the whole time, probably distracting you, but here we can get closer to her. Say hi! Say hi, girlie! Yeah, she's taking a nap.